The more they deny, the more we believe. Oh, yeah!
What if the world you remember never existed? You know the map of the world, right? Sri Lanka is below India, Cuba is south of Florida, and New Zealand is northeast of Australia. But what if I told you that thousands of people, pilots, teachers, travelers, remember these places in completely different locations? Did the Earth shift beneath our feet, or did reality itself rewrite the rules? This is not just about a bad memory. It is about a world that feels altered, as if someone hit update on our timeline while we were not looking. Are we misremembering, or are we catching glimpses of a version of Earth that no longer exists? Shifting maps and lost lands. The world map feels permanent. Borders may change, but oceans, continents, and islands do not just pick up and move. At least, that is what we are told. Yet thousands of people swear the Earth itself has shifted under their feet. Take Sri Lanka. Many recall it dangling just below India, like a teardrop at the tip of the subcontinent. But look now, it sits farther east, tucked under Bangladesh, as though it drifted across the Bay of Bengal while no one was watching. Cuba tells a similar story. Some remember it as a small island directly south of Florida. Today, it is a sprawling mass, stretching west, closer to Mexico than Miami. And New Zealand? For countless people, it once rested northeast of Australia. Now it is planted firmly to the southeast, as someone copied-pasted it to a new quadrant. Scientists wave this away, blaming bad memory, distorted school maps, or satellite projections. But here's the strange part. These are not random mistakes. They are the same mistakes, remembered the same way, by people from entirely different backgrounds. Pilots, teachers, students, travelers, entire coastlines look wrong to them. So are we misremembering the world we learned, or are we remembering a version of Earth that no longer exists in this timeline? Sacred symbols and texts. If there's anything you would expect to remain unchanged, it is religion. Prayers, scriptures, sacred symbols, these are supposed to be timeless, preserved word for word through centuries. Yet even here, the Mandela effect creeps in. Take the Lord's Prayer. Millions grew up reciting the line, "Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us." But open many modern Bibles today, and you will find a different line. "Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors." For some, this version feels alien, like it slipped in one night while no one was looking. Then there's the Eye of Horus, the ancient Egyptian symbol of protection. Some remember it always facing left, others always right. Now, art historians insist it was never consistent. Yet temple murals and textbooks from past decades tell a different story. Are these just stylistic differences, or evidence of shifting memory? When what's sacred begins to blur, the unease is different from geography or logos. It asks a deeper question. If divine texts and symbols can change, were they ever fixed at all? Mind tricks and psychology. Glitches. If maps and scriptures can shift, what about the very frameworks we use to understand ourselves? Psychology is supposed to be grounded in science, but even here, the lines blur. Challenge that simple truth, claiming red and blue do not really produce purple in pure physics. Even the old left brain versus right brain theory, once drilled into classrooms, has dissolved into myth. For decades, we labeled people as logical or creative based on their hemispheres. Now, it is dismissed as oversimplified. Were we all just wrong for years? Or did psychology itself glitch, leaving us with textbooks from a timeline that no longer exists? Global oddities and local memories. The Mandela effects are not just a Western phenomenon. Some of the strangest shifts come from outside the spotlight, tucked into local cultures where they are rarely discussed online. In India, for example, Many people claim to remember the Taj Mahal with a golden dome, not painted, not temporary, shining in the sun, immortalized on old postcards and family photographs. Yet search today, and it has always been white marble, without a trace of gold. But there's no official record, no ad if it were deleted from history. And in Japan, some remember their national flag differently. The iconic red circle, they say, wasn't always centered. For them, it sat slightly to the left, taught in classrooms as the official design. Now, every archive insists it was always in the middle. What's fascinating is not just the details, but how these memories are regional. They cluster in certain places, almost like reality applying different patches in different parts of the world. If that is true, then the Mandela effect is not a glitch, it is a system. One updates itself quietly, culture by culture. Body changes and biology updates. What if the Mandela effect is not just out there in maps or monuments, but inside you, written into your very body? For many, that is where the unease becomes impossible to ignore. Take the kidneys. In school, most of us learned they sit low in the back, just above the hips. That is why a blow to the lower back was said to be dangerous. But today's anatomical charts place them much higher, tucked under the rib cage, far from where countless people were taught. Did our organs migrate, or did the textbooks quietly change? The skull has its own mystery. Modern models reveal ridges, and even small horn-like bumps at the back of the head, called external occipital protuberances. They have supposedly always been there. Yet many insist mannequins and diagrams from childhood showed nothing of the sort. And then there's the mesentery. Long considered a mere connective tissue, it was suddenly classified as a full organ, essential and permanent. Medical journals say it has always been there, just overlooked. But to those who studied biology decades ago, it feels like a new download. Add to that octopuses with 3 hearts and 9 brains, and sharks with no bones at all, and it begins to feel less like science and more like biology updating while we sleep. Flip-flop effects. Some Mandela effects do not just appear and stay. They flip. They shift one way, spark confusion, and then quietly reverse as if nothing happened. These are called flip-flop effects, and they are some of the strangest of all. Think about Tank Man, the lone figure who stood in front of tanks during the Tiananmen Square protests in 1989.
The man was alone, the tank was not. It wasn't just a single tank he stopped, there were 18.
Many people vividly recall seeing him crushed, run over on film in school documentaries. Yet today, no such footage exists. In the official version, he walks away unharmed. Did history rewrite itself, or did reality roll back an edit we were not supposed to notice? Logos tell a similar story. The Chick-fil-A brand has been remembered as Chick, Chick, and Chick, with some people swearing the spelling has shifted back and forth more than once. Even Fruit of the Loom's cornucopia has reportedly vanished, reappeared briefly on old packaging, then disappeared again. These are not just memory mistakes. They are glitches that corrected themselves, like reality hit undo, which raises a chilling thought. If the world can flip-flop, maybe we are not just remembering wrong. We are catching edits in progress. False memories or hidden patches? Whenever the Mandela effect comes up, skeptics are quick with an answer: false memories. They argue the brain fills gaps with familiar patterns, and then groups reinforce those errors until they feel real. Psychologists call it confabulation. Simple, tidy, scientific. But here's the problem. Why do millions of people across different countries, languages, and generations make the same mistake in the same way? Why do strangers misremember identical song lyrics, logos, and even entire maps? That is more than a random error. That is a pattern. And patterns suggest design. Some believe Mandela effects are artifacts of a simulated reality. Like a video game updating its textures, the universe quietly rolls out patches, and our memories sometimes cling to the old version.
The difference with the Mandela effect is that some of the patients actually start to believe that it's happening to them.
Others suggest dimensional overlap, that we slip between nearly identical timelines, and memory is just a residue from the last one. Either way, it leaves us with an unsettling possibility. Maybe what we remember is more accurate than what we see. If that is true, then doubt is not confusion. It is evidence that reality itself has been rewritten. Closing reflection. So, what do we do with all of this? Strange maps, altered prayers, shifting bodies, and flip-flop histories. They could all be memory errors, or they could be breadcrumbs, subtle reminders that reality is not as fixed as we think. The unsettling truth is that the world doesn't ask permission before it changes. It leaves no trace, no evidence, only the memory you carry. And when enough of us share that memory, the question becomes harder to ignore. Maybe the Mandela effect is not about being wrong at all. Maybe it is about noticing. So the next time something feels off, do not shrug it away. Trust that instinct. Because that flicker of doubt might be the only real proof you will ever get. Let's stay curious.
This has been a Pinguinati production. If you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description.